Before we begin, let us take a moment to bring our hands together in veneration, our teacher, our master. He is the fountain of loving kindness and compassion. He who found the true meaning of our lives. He realized the reality. He realized what you have to do as a human being. He showed us a path to free ourselves from all these defilements, sufferings, fear, grief, anger, reminding ourselves the nobleness of our teacher. Let's bring our hands together in veneration, the Supreme Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So after 3 days, so we had a retreat at our monastery for the medical students who usually come to the Karapiti hospital in Gaul. So they usually come to the monastery for 3 days. So this time we had more than 14 participants. So with that 14 participants, we did a retreat with them for 3 days. So after that retreat, so it was really, ladies and gentlemen, it's to introduce this path, to introduce this Dhamma to a newbie, to a newcomer. It's really consuming energy. It's not an easy task. It's because, ladies and gentlemen, when we were born as a human beings, we didn't know what to do. We didn't have an idea what we have to do as a human being. As a result of that, all the people, everybody has different point of views, different perspectives, different drishtis, perspectives. So they have different ideas. Every mind, like when we take, like, it's that 18, like the altogether 16 people. So everyone has different ideas, different perspectives. In order to bring them together to a one goal, it's not an easy task. That's why you should be really think about the life that you have right now, because at some point, a monk or someone, maybe your father, maybe your mother, maybe your uncle or aunt or someone, told you that there was a Buddha and he attained something. So you have to follow that. You will be liberated from all the suffering because of his words, because of his teachings. So this is what we have learned since we were born, like in our kindergarten. But I know that some of you, you didn't learn these things from the kindergarten. You came across later, but that's fine. Anyway, so after, like, when you hear this message from your friend or your uncle or your aunt or anyone, your mother and father, you were ready to listen to that. You were ready to pick that point. There's something we can do for this. There's something we can do to liberate ourselves from all the sufferings. We can end this suffering. We can end this fear. We can end this grief, anger, cravings. Yes, we have the solution. I mean, you started to believe that at least. You started to think about it. You came across that idea and you thought, okay, we have a solution. Let's go. Let's see whether what Buddha said. Ladies and gentlemen, that thought happens in your mind because of this, so because of the merits that you have done in the past. This is something, ladies and gentlemen, you can't imagine that how you came across this Buddha Sasana, some Buddha Sasana, because you have to conduct, you have to involve, you had to involve in lot of meritorious activities, lot of punya kriya, lot of meritorious activities in order to achieve this goal. Being born as a human being is also it's Buddha has mentioned that being born as a human being is a very rarest thing that anyone can achieve. But in the presence of a Buddha Sasana, in the presence of a Buddha Sasana, and to think about you, ladies and gentlemen, you are now, you listen to this Dhamma. You have some goal, and you're trying to achieve that. You're doing it. You're not only just human being. You're trying to achieve some goal. You're trying to liberate yourself from all your defilements. You're doing some action. You're involved in some activity to come out from the sufferings. This is something that you have to be really, really happy about, that you have done something, and that's why you came across this asana, and you're doing that. You're achieving that. Not everybody can understand this profound teachings, ladies and gentlemen. We have to accept that. Out of everyone, like out of the community, everyone can't achieve this. Everyone can't realize this. Only couple of people. You know that Buddha cannot liberate every living being, even though he tried to achieve Buddhahood, to extinguish defilements in all living beings, living beings, but he couldn't do that. If he did that, then we are still here, right? Because he couldn't do that. How many Buddhas were there in the past? Everybody tried to relieve, release these living beings from this samsaric trap. But they missed us. That's why we are still here. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand this. You have this opportunity. You are so meritorious. You guys are chosen ones. You guys are chosen ones, and you have this opportunity. You are doing something. You have to be very happy about your life. You need to think that your life is so valuable. Actually, your life, and a person who didn't understand the profound wisdom, like he didn't know that there's a way to get rid of this trap. Between these two lives, your life is more valuable. You have to understand that your life is valuable than the other people, because that you are something doing a worth. You are doing something worth out of this humanity. People who associate you, ladies and gentlemen, they need to feel that you are doing this. They should feel that you are doing this. You are an extraordinary person, character. If you are following what we do, everybody should see that you are an extraordinary person, character, because you have different qualities. You're righteous. You have good virtues, good qualities, good characteristics, because you don't want to harm any others. You don't want to harm others. You don't want to kill others. You don't want to, like, shout at others. You're trying to come out from all the defilements. If you understand this Dhamma, you can't see others. Hmm? If you if you truly understand the Dhamma, in that moment, like when you deal with someone, if you can come back to senses, ladies and gentlemen, you can't see any people. You won't be able to see anyone. That means you're not blind, but you realize what actually happens here. If you understand this Dhamma, you won't see people, you won't see any like individual beings exist in this world. You can see, you will feel that you are nature. You become nature. You are Brahmasmi. You become the world. You can't see anyone. You won't see any separation. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, when you practice this path, I mean, this is something like very good virtues and good qualities are actually making environment to understand the Dhamma. At the same time, when you understand the Dhamma, you get more good qualities and more good virtues in your mind, in your life. You won't be blaming anyone, ladies and gentlemen. You can't blame someone. How can you blame a person? If you truly practice the path, if you truly try to understand this Dhamma, how can you blame? Okay, you have partners as well, right? How can you blame your partner? You can't. Ladies and gentlemen, everything that happens to us right now, it's not everything that happens to us. Everything that happens is what happens because of the past action. It's not us, but it's a reaction, energy reaction. This whole world is an energy flow. This whole world is an energy flow. It's not something fixed. It happens. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, thinking, touching, thinking, all these process happens. There's no one who does this. It happens. There's a nice stanza in not Dhammapada, in Tripitaka. Natti kammassa karako vipakassa cha vedako suddha dhamma pavattanti etesang sammadassa. There's no doer behind all these actions. There's no receiver. There's no victim. There's no a person who receives the vipaka. There's no individual being here who receives what he has done in the past. Even though we conventionally say, you get what you have done in the past, ladies and gentlemen, when you understand Dhamma, it becomes, it's not what you give is what you get. It becomes given, gotten. What you give is what you get. We have to remove that what you give. What you give is what you give is what you get, right? What you get, what you and what you have to delete that what you part when you realize the Dhamma. That's why then in that stanza, okay, we'll try to explain, right? Don't worry. When you go deeper and deeper and deeper, ladies and gentlemen, you won't feel that there's a person exists in your body. When you go deeper and deeper and deeper, you won't feel that there's a person who is doing all these actions. When you go deeper and deeper, you will start to feel, ladies and gentlemen, this is like autopilot. All the actions and all the reactions that you perform, ladies and gentlemen, this is autopilot. It's not that you are detaching from the system. It's not that you are detaching, you come out from the system and switching on the autopilot. No, you realize this all happens is an autopilot process. This is exactly what you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen. Because of that, because of this understanding, ladies and gentlemen, how can you how can you blame someone? How can you shout at someone? How can you reject someone? You can't. The awakened one, an Arhatun Wahanse, can't blame someone. It's not that he wants to blame. He's not blaming someone. He's tolerating it. When we were kindergarten, like not kindergarten, when we were schooling, we had a subject called Buddhism in our school curriculum. On those school, I can't remember. I can't. I can't. Where we learn. Yes. Atalo Dhamma. So in that, I think it's a, separate section, and like we have to read, and in there, our teacher explained. Okay, so Arhatun Wahanse won't harm anyone. Arhatun Wahanse, that awakened one, um, and don't kill anyone. Awakened one, don't blame anyone. Awakened one cannot. He's not. He tolerate everything, right? So right, even though he likes something, like this is what we thought. Even though he likes something, he won't go after that. So it's something like this, and I felt like awakened one is always in stress because he has the pressure comes within his mind, so he tolerate it. Right? When someone blame him, he tolerate, and he was inside him, like he's going to burn, he's going to explode, but he's not doing that. Because of that, he's an Aryatunanse. When he craves, he tolerate, because he doesn't he when he craves, he tolerate that craving, and he stay there, because that he can't, that because he's a Aridunasi. So everyone look at him. This is what I thought an Aridunasi, awakened. Hmm? When somebody hit him, like he doesn't respond because he's an Ariyatunasi. He has to maintain that Ariyatunasi. He has to be like Ariyatunasi, ladies and gentlemen. He have to tolerate, and he has to keep himself like locked in Ariyatunasi's awakened one position. It's like a position that you can achieve, and you have to maintain that. This is what we thought. Well, ladies and gentlemen, awakened one can't do all these things because awakened one doesn't feel that he is an individual being and all the others are individual beings, because he experienced the reality as it is. He realized, ladies and gentlemen, there's no doer behind all these actions. Even that realization that he attained, even that realization he realized, the realization process is also, ladies and gentlemen, it happens because of the vipaka, because of everything, like because of the nature. It's a process in the nature. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, look at the destination we go. It's a king, ladies and gentlemen, awaken one. Like if you become awakened, you'll be a king. Kind-hearted like a grandmother, dignified as a king. Those two qualities can't have, like, a person can't have those two qualities together. Kind-hearted as a grandmother and dignified as a king. That should be an Ariyatunasi who has kind heart and the dignified, like always rigid. When somebody meets Ariyatunase, do you think that Ariyatunase will say, "Oh, you are doing all these things, good, 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 good. So do this, huh? All this, all the defilements, you can try to do this, so many things." Like when Ariyatunase won't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Ariyatunase, hey man, what are you doing? Come and understand this Dhamma. You can liberate yourself from what you are suffering, man. I don't think Buddha, if Buddha live here, like in this era today, I don't think that Buddha will live in jungle, like in a monastery, like isolated. Definitely, all the Buddhist monasteries will be there in the middle of the cities. Sydney CBD, they have a monastery. Hmm? Because people can come there, access. This is what I feel. Now these days, like, I mean, we don't blame anyone. It's not something to blame, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that because of the society, because of the culture, because of the situation, it happened. People go to temple these days. People go and meet Swami Vahanses to understand the Dhamma. But Buddha's time, all the Swami Vahanses, all the Arhatun Vahanses, all the enlightened people, enlightened ones, right? Awakened ones, they traveled everywhere throughout the world, ladies and gentlemen, to disseminate this path, to explain this path, to explain what actually happens to each and everybody. Out of compassion, out of 100% compassion, ladies and gentlemen, it happened. This should be your characteristics, ladies and gentlemen. You should feel that everybody should understand this. Everybody should feel this. Everybody should attain this nibbana. It's not only my nibbana. Unconditional love means that it's not conditioned. We truly think about that person to get rid of, like, to eradicate suffering out of that minding process. Because we can't see a person, right? We see that there's a person, but in conventionally, but in reality, there's a minding process which is under pressure. This is what you will understand. This is what you will contemplate. This is the way, this will be your character when you realize this Dhamma. If you practice the path, 100%, if you diligently practice the path, if you want to understand, if you want to practice, and if you want to become an Arituna, this is the qualities that you will achieve. You will achieve. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I'm telling you this. Like, we don't usually describe these good qualities and good people characteristics, but these are the things you need to make sure that you have. You need to make sure that you're also you're also a person with those good characteristics. Because unless otherwise, you won't be able to realize this. Because otherwise, we can describe Dhamma. You know, ladies and gentlemen, describing the Dhamma is not the realization. Understanding the Dhamma, understanding the truth is not the realization. You can explain. That's not real. We can't say that you have understood, you have realized. Even though we say separation is impossible, anicca, dukkha, anatta, chaotic, and dukkha, sukha, eka, one not one, in what we call entityless, all these things can be only words, ladies and gentlemen. All things can be words if you don't have a right condition within your mind to understand, to realize this. That's why you can see within the monastery, if you come here, we have created that environment. Everybody is like, wherever you look, everybody is involved in meritorious activities. Everybody is not doing their own work. Everybody is taking care of everyone's things. Wherever you look, you can see merits. People are involved in merits. This is why this inside the monastery we have created that positive environment, positive condition, environment to understand the Dhamma. So the 3-day retreat that we did for the Germans. These students are from Germany. Like they are in a student exchange something program in that they are medical students. So what I told them is, I want you to become a good doctor. Not a doctor only look after the body. A doctor that who can look after the patient's mind, right? He is a complete doctor. Complete doctor has two characteristics, because that doctor can treat to the body and that doctor can treat to the mind. I invited them to be like our team, like join our team. You don't have to come become an anagarito or like monk, but at least like you can be our part and parcel with our project to heal mending minds and healing hearts. This is my invitation for them. This is my invitation for you as well. I need you to come here, stay here with us, right? I know one day you will do that. People are coming here. Remember that Sunita, like there was a old lady, like she was 82. In here, she was here, right? Last couple of weeks. Now she was here, like she came here. She was here like now 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Every day she's coming with with the walking stick. Yes, and then she come here, she go and she stays here. She discussed Dhamma with Goswami. Says so. I only spoke with one. I spoke with her only one time. I said, okay, you don't need me now. You are in the middle of, you are like Jim Papa, you are like Asterix now, Obelix, right? You have now surrounded by all the magic potion, right? So just drink from everywhere. You don't need me. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, so you need to have this environment to understand the Dhamma. You need to maintain that environment. You need to realize this. You need to maintain that environment. That's how you can achieve this goal. Good virtues, good qualities. Thinking about the others. These are the good characteristics. I mean, like always be kind. These like practice these characteristics because these characteristics actually help you to understand them. You know that doing wrong thing, doing like blaming someone is very easy to do. Without blaming, keep that thought within yourself is very hard. Without expressing your expressions, emotions, keep it for yourself is very hard. You know, in order to, so we have to agree with, ladies and gentlemen, we have to agree that only Buddha's aspirants become a Buddha. Buddha's aspirant has completed some perfections to become a Buddha, to get enlightened. Buddha's aspirants means Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva has done all these perfections. That means he has completed these perfections to become a Buddha. In these perfections, we have like tolerate. You tolerate, you sacrifice. Some of the perfections are that you have the I don't know proper words for this perfect. I will look at in English words because adhisthana, determination, and kanti, ivasima. That means patience, tolerant, patience. You have to develop this patience within your mind. It's a characteristic that you can develop, ladies and gentlemen. When you try to patient, then the vexation goes high. Patience need the patient need patience. Patient need patience. Hmm? Just you don't understand. Patient means patient, like sick. Your mind is sick. That mind needs patience. Needs to be patient, like patience. Right? Otherwise, because all the time we have taken the 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 route that relieves the vexation, right? Let's say this is the your path, my mental path, and this is the where the junction. Now you are under pressure. In this junction, there are two paths. This path releases the pressure. So this path is the Buddha's path. This is just to realize what actually happens. So, ladies and gentlemen, this door is closed. You don't know that there's a door there. You always have taken this route in your life, route A and route B. So this is route A, right? You have taken always route A. When you come to this situation, when you are under pressure, you take always the way to release that pressure by doing some action. Your natural tendency, your natural inclination, your natural habit is to go through this path to relieve that pressure. You relieve your pressure. You point your finger towards the outside. You express your emotions to others without keeping yourself. You can't tolerate. You have to be very patient in here. But you can't because you automatically go, you choose this path. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, if you lock this gate and be patient here, then this moment you will see that there's another gate that you can open and go. This is the Buddha's path. Your natural tendency is going through this path. So you have to be patient here without going that way. You have to be patient here to open this gate. This is what exactly happens. You have to tolerate. You have to be patient in your point at the point of where vexation hits you without blaming. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, first precept, do you know precepts? People, the seal, people observe 10 precepts, 5 precepts, 8 precepts. This is where the precepts play action. That's why as monks, we have 276 precepts as a high ordained monk. We have to be very serious about all our actions. Buddha has given so many guidelines. This, that, even walking, speaking, talking, keeping our hands like this. You know that sometimes so we keep our hands like this, right? When we discuss things like this. Buddha has given given locks in all these actions. Buddha has said this, okay, this is the way you have to behave in the outside because now you're mindful with that, okay. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Buddha wants us to go through this path. In order to go through this path, you have to be very mindful about your action, what you're doing. You have to be inner words, like insightful awareness, insightful. You look after yourself, not others, right? So that's why Buddha has established this vinaya, the disciplines. Like right now in this today date, like today's, I think the Buddha Sasana, all these monks sometimes I mean, we don't. It's not because of their problem, but they think that protecting the vinaya, protecting the discipline is something that you must do. It's something that's why you are a monk. That's not the case, ladies and gentlemen. 10 precepts are just to keep you on the track. It's not that you have to protect that. So you are stressed to protect the disciplines. It's not the case. It's not. It should work. It shouldn't work like that. Now you see, like, see, I observe 10 precepts. So I am a 10 precept person. Right? Every day I observe 10 precepts and I live with 10 precepts. So now your jati, now your ego is like what? That ego is now enjoying that ego with 10 precepts. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why this case like attaining Nibbana. Buddha can't do that for you. This ego try to find a good comfort zone even in there. For example, ladies and gentlemen, in our monastery, so in Monday and Tuesday we have work days. So like 2 days are like construction and all the cleanings and everything is been done in 2 work days, right? So we give like a good meal for all the monks and all the like everyone like with some meat and all these things are provided, right? But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, let's say, okay, if someone likes, like, let's say, if someone has like has a habit of eating meat every day, without meat he can't eat, right? When he come as a when he become an anagarika, like to become a monk, anagarika, you know what? Initially, he will go through struggle with this, food. After some time, he will always settle. You know what? Now he's looking for Monday and Tuesday. Now he's happy with that. So what Guru Hamdru did today, like last Monday and yeah, so like this Monday also, he changed the schedule. He just changed everything. Now when Monday, when someone comes, oh, today no, don't kill someone, don't kill animal. Whatever the food that you can buy, use them. It's up to you. It's something like when we go Pindapata, ladies and gentlemen, we can say, okay, don't put meat here, don't put this and that. But Buddha has explained to us when you go Pindapata, whatever that puts your bowl, if like he has given some 10 restrictions, don't eat this meat from 10 animals. I think this is because of that these animals, when you eat that meat, these animals will hit you back like the other like they know that you have eaten that meat. They can, because of the pheromones and because of the I don't know, like there's a chemical reaction, they can feel that you have eaten their meat, one of their member. So because of that, Buddha has given restrictions to don't eat those meats. Some, I don't know, like I can't remember what are those meats. Okay, 10 meats. A farmer is killing millions of insects and all these animals to grow these things. So this is not like, this is not something like that. It how it works, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be very mindful. Whatever you have in there in your arms bowl is just food. If you can see a separation, that's because of your defilements. If you have a preferences, that's because of your defilements. I need this and this. So like craving for dal curry is harmful than craving for, like it's equally harmful craving for chicken peas. It's not about chicken peas. It's not about chickpeas. It's not about dal curry. It's not about even maldu. Like whatever the. That's why. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, like that's why I told you that if Anagarika Mahatya or someone he is looking for that, then what Guru Hamdru is doing, Guru Hamdru secretly change all these menus. Guru Hamdru send all these like whatever you call decisions to the kitchen. Okay, today this change it, and the kitchen monks knows, right? They know what's going on, but they cook that, and that's it. Until you understand that, don't kill anyone, don't kill animals. I don't harm anyone. You have to have that kindness, but have your meal. Look, if you don't have anything to eat, right? Even though if you don't have anything to eat, don't kill anyone. Don't kill an animal. Don't make an action to do something because you don't have rights to kill someone. Not right means like it's not your thing. How can you take someone's life? People have different point of views. You have different point of views. It's fine that if you can become a vegetarian, it's good. If you can eat anything, it's good. Don't worry about these rules. Yeah, just take my like advice, right? Don't worry about your perspective. I'm not telling eating meat is harmful, eating meat is not good, and eating like a vegetarian is the perfect one. No, you can't be like that, right? What you have to understand here, whatever you get, see, that's why, ladies and gentlemen, and become a monk. If you become a monk, you get everything, right? I mean, you don't go and do everything. You get things. That's it, right? You get things to your arms, so you have it. No choice. I mean, there's no choice, ladies and gentlemen. You can't choose anything. Beggars can't be choosers. We are the beggars, and I want you to become a beggars as well. See, because you know that all these point of views, different opinions that people have, like this is what your ego tells you. I am like that. I am a person vegetarian. I am this. I am like this. We are going to kill that one. Not about vegetarian, not about carnivorous. You can be herbivorous or anyone, right? It's something that you have to understand that there's no like you can't be a good person and live here. If you can be a good person and 100% good person and live in this world, why should you attend Nibbana? No, ladies and gentlemen. Let's say you go to work, you have to involve in all these nonsense activities. Back in old days, right? Like when I was working, I had to involve. I had to commit. Like I'm part of. Sorry, I mute someone. I think uh, uh, that's why. Yeah, Uh, those days when I was working, I had to involve in all these like not like not righteous activities, right? So we have to involve in unwholesome activities, ladies and gentlemen. Don't think this world is a very sweet place. Everybody has to take part of these unwholesome activities. Everybody is looking after the other's pocket. That's
Doctors.
why that's not only doctors, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, everyone is looking after the other's pocket. How to empty that pocket? This is your plan. This is what you are thinking. Right? So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, if I can see that this world is beautiful and it's a very good place to live, okay, well, I will. You can ask me to come. Like you can show me how to live that in that way. I will come. That's why I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we have to get out of this trap. To get out of this trap, you have to practice these good virtues and good qualities, and then the Dhamma. You have to maintain. You have to have that environment within your mind and the Dhamma. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, like what I was telling, the perfections, right? I was talking about this patience, right? The tolerance. You have to tolerate your mental pressure and try to apply the Dhamma. If you can't tolerate in the moment that you vexed, if you release that pressure, ladies and gentlemen, you're losing a moment to practice the path. You are losing a moment to realize that you have another gate to go, another avenue to go. The Buddha's avenue, the Buddha's path, the Buddha's process, Buddha's method is completely different to what we have been doing. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, day to day, day to day activities, this Buddha has set these goals, and Buddha has set these not goals, like rules and regulations to a monk, because now monk is very mindful about his actions and what he talks and what he describes, what he do in their day to day activities. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, these disciplines are there. Disciplines are not there to lock you, but to make you practice. These disciplines help you to practice. That's why when you come here, You will observe 10 precepts and you will be locked. For like as an anagarika. Get ready for that. Like it. Because you're going to eliminate, you're going to extinguish the suffering. I did it. I didn't think about this locking and all these things, higher than ladies and gentlemen. Okay, what I tell you. After 1 year, like I came in 2022 April, 2023 April, my teacher said, okay, now you can become a monk. Your ordination ceremony. It's only before 1 2 weeks I got to know that I'll be there'll be a ordination ceremony, and then my fathers and my mothers, they didn't accept that. They were like firing everywhere, like they didn't like that. Anyway, that I get the consent from them. After that, then we got ordained, and after 1 month, 1.5 month, then my teacher said, okay, now you are get ready for become a high ordained monk. Just 1.5 month. And what? Yes, let's do. I said, okay, if you are telling me, okay, let's do. You know how unlucky I am. Like after the high ordination, the next day I have to fly. I had to fly to Sydney, I think. I remember. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, like, I was like out of blue, like after high ordination, what happens, what to practice. I play by ear. I played by ear. But that's fine, ladies and gentlemen. This is the way that you protect yourself from I mean, that's why my teachers are like, they have showed me what to do as a monk. That's why I want you to, I'm giving this dhamma, I'm giving this like path. I'm showing you that path. You can free yourself by practicing this. You don't have to be locked like us, but at least put in some blocks. Put in some blocks in your case by without expressing your emotions. Try to tolerate that. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Don't do like that. It's in Bible, right? Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Even though they said, like, if you turn your left, if somebody slaps your right hand, turn and give him the left hand also. This is the Bible. This is what Bible says. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand this. You need to get ready. You need to make sure that you have this environment within you, the background, the condition. Be mindful with your actions. It's not harming others, your intentions. Be mindful about your intentions behind your actions. Always be mindful whether you are doing something for purpose or because you are vexed. Remember that 2 weeks before I was telling you, right? Remember I told you that our mind is so vexed. You can't stay at place. You can't sit and look at a. Have you tried? Have you tried sitting in one place and doing nothing without thinking anything? Look at your either curtain or somewhere or wall and stay there, like without thinking anything. No, you can't do. It burns, ladies and gentlemen. It burns here. This is the problem we have. That's why you always do some action. You always look somewhere. You look at the other side. Think about someone. Uh, you're creating stories out of your mind. You think about future planning, and previous actions. See, I have done bad to this. I must behave in the. I should have. I should behave in not. I behave very bad, wrong way in that moment. I think what I don't know what she has thought about me. See, now you have created a story. Now your ego, Jati, is living in that story. Because of that, there's no vexation, there's no pressure, there's no mental pressure. It looks like balanced life. You're having a okay life. No, you are in hell at that moment. In this moment, your mind is under pressure. For the German students, with German students, in the second day, I showed them that they are under vexed because there was a peacock in the place that we did this session. There was a peacock. They can't see that, right? But that peacock is now shouting like the peacock sound, right? It's very like it's not pleasant, right? They don't know who is that. Yeah, it's just it's just outside, right? So they want to see who is that, which animal is that. Then I said, no, stay there without going, without moving, without looking, stay there. And that peacock keeps screaming outside. For half an hour he was doing that. He was calling. I think it's calling, right? Calling was like peacock call, right? That call happened. Because of that, everyone was vexed. Now everyone, they can't focus on what I'm telling. Then later I said, okay, it's a peacock. And I stopped the class and I asked to go and check. Then they went. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, when your mind is under pressure, you go insane. Now you can't focus on something. This is the case. Practicing the Dhamma, understanding anicca dukkha anatta is something that happens if you can tolerate in the moment of pressures, if you can patient in the moment of pressures, then you have to apply Dhamma. You have to apply the Dhamma to come out of it. There are two parts, relieving the pressure and applying the Dhamma, applying the truth. These two have to be, there are two actions, two parts when you have pressure. Got it? Right? Applying the Dhamma will get rid of the pressure in that moment. Right. Today I came here to discuss something else. I went somewhere else. I sat here to discuss something else. Okay. Do we have time? Yes. Do you understand this? Hmm? You have to tolerate your pressure. That's another perfection we have to fulfill, ladies and gentlemen. It's not, it's not the way up to the Buddha's level, but as a Bodhisattva, as a Arihatun say, you become after you become an enlightened, you will become an Arihatun say. You have to tolerate. Ladies and gentlemen, Nibbana is something that happens in that moment, right? What happens here, we can't be like Arihatun say, because our defilements are like very strong. Our ignorance is strong. Because of that, next moment, when even you after contemplate, next moment you get again defilements. That's why you can't be in that samadhi. What we have to do is we have to practice that. I want you to focus on, because a long time ago Guru Hamdra explained this, and it was we didn't explain in this English sessions. So I want you to focus on this. Can you take your hands up, like hands up and hands down? How do you know that you have lift your hands up? How do you know what I'm telling you? How do you know? If you close your eyes and if you lift your hand, you have a sense that you lift your hands up, isn't it? If you close your, even though you can't see, right? If you lift your hand, you have a sense that your hands is in this position. Does, did you get the point? Hmm? Right? If you walk, even you close your eyes, you can feel, you sense that walking happens. You know it's your posture, bodily arrangement, where the body is. You have an idea. Does this make sense? Pattern of the senses here, the tactile sensations. That because of the tactile sensations, because of the pattern, you get an idea that this is where your hand is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what actually happens. When I ask you to lift your hands up, you know what happens? Your mind, there's a mind. This is to simplify. Don't think this is only one mind, that it will have a couple of millions of minds, but I will draw it like this. When you hear that lift your hands up, this mind is hearing. Okay, this is the mind that listen, that recognize that I said lift your hand. In the adjacent, the next mind, it's doing another process, which is called, like, in this mind, in this moment, this mind is doing an activity. It's nice. It's like it's creating a mental picture of lifting hands. There's a mental picture that creates in that mind. The second, don't think this is the only one mind, one mind and second mind, but there are, like, I can't like explain. There are millions of minds happens here, right? Got it? You understand that, right? This is just to simplify the process. Lift your hands up. This is what you hear. This is what you like. The moment you design. This is the design. This mind designs how to lift your hand. And then, ladies and gentlemen, because of this mind, brain is doing that activity, sending signals to the muscles and whatever that happens here. Actually, after this mind happens, brain is doing that. Because brain is involved in some action here, there are neurons that attach to these muscles, again sending signal back to the brain, that creates a tactile sensations, a network of tactile sensations. These tactile sensations, you will realize, your this is where you confirm that your hand lifted. Do you understand these three steps? There are millions of minds in between. Do you understand these three steps? The first step, you hear. The second step plan, and then brain is doing something, and then receives the confirmation with another mind. Got it? Huh? You need to understand. You need to divide this into three pieces, three parts, and then you will understand. This is not something you are doing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now try to understand this. When you lift your hand, you think that what brain is doing, the changing this, whatever the four great elements structure. Do you understand? Can you hear me? You hear me, right? Brain and these muscles and all these things are four great elements. Right? That means energy, aggregation of energy. Mind is altering, mind is giving some signal to the brain. That brain is sending signals to the hand like muscles, and they contract. Because of that, the hand lift up. You got that point, right? Now tell me, is this lifting of this hand is something that you can see from your eyes or tactile sensations, right? That's the third mind. I'm not talking about that, right? I'm talking about the second mind, middle mind, where the planning happens. In between the planning, in between planning mind and in between planning mind and the mind that confirms that it was lifted. Brain is doing that action. Lifting of the hand. Got it? Now tell me, is it something you are doing? Or this process just happens? Now you have to think really closely. When I say lift your hands, that experience, that realization of what lifting your hand, that recognition attracts, it created a ground, it created the mental base, it changed the environment in the mind, right? That attracts to create a lifting, the picture of lifting up your hand. It's a mental picture. The second mind is the second mind happens because of the first mind. The second mind happens on the base of the first mind. First mind is creating an environment of the second mind. Does this make sense? That mind doesn't have a control of that mind. That also what? That's also collection of all the causes to the plan. There's a plan. No, there's no planner, but planning happens. There's no designer, but designing happens. You didn't get what this design means, right? Like, can I, because you don't feel it this way. Ladies and gentlemen, I know the best place is, have you gone to parties, dancing? When you see someone is, when you see other people dance, so you take, they like you can see other people also dance, right? Moving here and there. If you see someone's act is very beautiful, then you try to do that, isn't it? If someone is doing some crazy thing, and you think, I should do that as well, and you start to do that. That way dance, right? This is what happened to my experience. I knew that, okay, this is what happened, and there was a video, and to my knowledge, I copied what he has done. The way I can see, I copied 100% what he has done, right? But ladies and gentlemen, when I see the video, it's completely different. The way I dance is completely different to what I saw from that person. And I slowly realized that's why, ladies and gentlemen, choreographers, the dance actors, they have glasses, not windows, the glasses, mirrors in front of these dancing rooms. You know why? To confirm what you're doing is what you have seen from the teacher. Because you can't see your posture, ladies and gentlemen. Your brain is just your mind is just picking the pattern that you saw, and mind is designed and sending signals. Brain doesn't know what to do. Brain is according to the mind's code. Brain acts. Brain is taking all these hands and lifting all these things, and then mind receives a signal. Okay, you did it. See, you can see the same posture. No, if you see the mirror, then you will see, yeah, it's something completely different. Have you had this kind of experience? Like you try to copy someone is doing, and then you realize that's not the way that. This is exactly what happens, ladies and gentlemen. This designing mind doesn't have any control over the brain. You don't have any control of your brain, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you means that mind is putting a signal, a code to the brain. Okay, this way, do it. And then brain is doing according to what mind says. Brain is sending signals and all these things, and because of that there will be a movement of your hand. With that movement, there's another the tactile sensations are generating in the mind, another mind happens to confirm, okay, this is what happens. Now, all these three minds just arise and passes away, ladies and gentlemen. There's no doer behind this. This one leads to this one, leads to this one. First leads to the second, leads to the third. This is how you do actions. You say, I work, I go to work, I do this, I do this, I did that, it's it's my bad, I did that. All these things, right, ladies and gentlemen, this is autopilot. You think, no, it's manual. It's the wrong perception we have. You know what happened here? Each of these mind happens, there's another consciousness happens. I am. Here also I am. Here also I am. This is doing, I am doing. Because of the defilements, because of the ignorance and attachment, there's another process happens when this mind happens. This creates the sense of self, sense of self, sense of self. The experience that there's a controller, there's a doer, there's something that who perform this action. There's a sense that creates each and every mind. With that mind, this is the pure mind, ladies and gentlemen. This is the pure consciousness. Pure consciousness. With this pure consciousness, this I am consciousness also happens. This is what we call jati. This is what we call ego. That's why there's a sense, there's an experience within you that you are doing all these actions. Does this make sense? Now think about, ladies and gentlemen, that's an artificial, it's a false sense of existence that someone is always doing this action. You have to think about this. All your actions, when you walk, think about, are you walking, or this walking is just happening? It's just all like, it's like a machine, ladies and gentlemen. This leads to that, leads to this, leads to that. It's a natural process. When you realize that, you won't feel guilty of things. You won't feel regrets. Regret happens because it's my actions. It's because I did that. Yeah, I didn't do anything. Ladies and gentlemen, this is like a bike riding downhill. Like, you don't have to ride. You right, you don't have to pedal. It's always coming down. You think, no, you have to pedal, and you're pedaling, and you think that because of you pedal it goes down. No, you just have to understand the laws of physics here. That's why I'm telling you, whatever that we need to realize, we need to understand. I will explain this in detail in next sessions as well. What you have to understand here, this is the autopilot process of your actions, reactions. Each and every moment, thinking happens, right? All this mano sankar, that means mind. This is the mind is doing I mean, don't think that action is being done by the mind. It's not something like mind is doing that action, but that action is an energy driven process that happens naturally. That is the mind. It's not mind is doing that. You can't blame even mind, ladies and gentlemen. Mind is also a natural process. You are also a natural process, ladies and gentlemen, in this world. You are not a separate entity that separate from the nature, right? That's why This mind is dealing with four great elements. Four great elements is creating again the conditions to the mind to happen a mind. That's why first mind hear the sound and decide, okay, I should decide what? Lift up your hand. In the second mind, it's designed. And the third mind, it happened. Right? So that means, now tell me, are you, that's why, ladies and gentlemen, if you try to find the moment that you are doing this action, you won't be able to find out. If you really focus on which moment I do that, because this designing mind, you don't feel that you are doing anything in the designing mind, right? The third mind, when the mind is get confirmed, okay, you have lift your hand, that's where you can see, okay, I did something, I am doing something. This is the mind you can, this is what you call kaya sankara. This is what you think that I have done something. You didn't do anything, ladies and gentlemen. You is just a sense, a false sense that appears each and every mind, thinking that I am the one who is always doing these things. That's why in Taoism it says, when God, sorry, master does everything. When master complete his job, people say, amazing. Give me a second. Master does everything. When master complete his job, people say, amazing. Hmm? We all did it by ourselves. This people means this ignorant mind. Think that I am the one who is doing. Even that mind doesn't have a control of that mind, ladies and gentlemen. That is also born because of what? The previous mind, the previous conditions. Contemplate on this. Always for when you, I mean, if you walk like to place A to place B, right? Look at your feet, like look down and walk. When you walk in the kitchen, like inside your house, or if you want to go to some place, don't walk and don't walk to that place looking at here and there and like looking all these cars and all these people, right? Look down and start contemplating what happens here. I mean, this is what we call mindful awareness, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we call insightful awareness. You have to aware about your action. You have to focus on what you're doing here, what actually happens here. This is my invitation. Like, try to contemplate when you while you walk. I mean, this is the best place to understand this process. And you will realize left hand, like left leg move. That creates the condition to the moving of the right leg. That creates the condition of the taking the left leg. This is like not that you are doing, it actually happens. It's a process. It's not something you are doing. Right. Okay. Shall we call it ready? There was an error.